Have you ever woken up, gone through your morning routine and felt like something was just off? Like no matter how hard you try, you're running in circles, chasing something you can't quite name. So many of us feel this way, and we brush it off as just another day. But what if that feeling is a quiet whisper from your soul, telling you you're on the edge of something extraordinary? Today we're rediving into a conversation about 5 rare body signs that might reveal you, reliving your final spiritual life cycle on Earth. A cycle that could lead you to complete soul liberation. This isn't about complicated rituals or mystical secrets. It's about tuning into yourself, noticing what your body and spirit are saying, and stepping into a life of deeper meaning. Let's start with why this matters. You're not just a body moving through the world, you're a soul on a journey. In many spiritual traditions like Buddhism, life is seen as a series of cycles, each one teaching us, shaping us, until we're ready to break free. Liberation, or nirvana, isn't about escaping life, but about living it so fully that you're no longer bound by the same old patterns. Your body, believe it or not, is like a map for this journey. It sends signals, subtle, sometimes strange ones, that point to where you are in this cycle. These signs aren't random. They're clues that you're closer than you think to a breakthrough. But before we begin, write in the comments, I am open to the wisdom of my soul's journey, and if you stay until the end, I'll share a simple practice you can do tonight to connect with these signs and feel more aligned with your path. Let's start with the first sign, a tingling sensation in your hands or feet. Have you ever felt that? Maybe you're sitting quietly and suddenly your palms buzz, like they're holding onto some invisible energy, or your feet feel like they're humming, even when you're perfectly still. This isn't just poor circulation or a random quirk. In Eastern spirituality, this tingling is often linked to the flow of prana, or life energy, moving through your body's energy centers. It's like your soul is waking up saying, hey, I'm ready for the next step. Think of it like a river starting to flow after a long freeze. That energy is moving because you're clearing out old blockages, maybe from past lives or this one, and your body is signaling that you're aligning with something bigger. I remember talking to a friend who started noticing this tingling during meditation. She'd sit cross-legged in her living room, just breathing, and her hands would feel like they were glowing. At first, she thought it was weird, maybe even a little annoying. But when she leaned into it, focusing on the sensation instead of brushing it off, she felt a deep sense of peace, like she was being guided. That's the thing about these signs. They're not just physical. They're invitations to trust yourself more deeply. And you know what's most interesting about all this? It's that these signs don't show up for everyone. They tend to appear when you're at a turning point, when your soul is ready to let go of old baggage and step into freedom. Another sign to watch for is vivid dreams that feel more like memories than fantasies. Have you ever woken up from a dream so real you could still smell the air or feel the emotions? These aren't just your imagination running wild. In many spiritual traditions, dreams like this are messages from your higher self, glimpses of past lives or lessons your soul is processing. They're like postcards from the journey you've been on for lifetimes. Imagine this. You dream of walking through a forest, not one you've ever seen, but it feels like home. You're not just dreaming, you're remembering. My cousin had a dream like this once, where he was in a marketplace, bargaining for spices in a language he didn't even know. When he woke up, he felt this strange sense of completion, like he'd resolved something deep inside. That's your soul working through its final lessons, tying up loose ends as you move toward liberation. This leads us to another important point, which many people overlook. Your body might start rejecting things it used to crave. Maybe you've loved coffee your whole life, but suddenly it tastes bitter, or you can't stomach heavy foods anymore. This isn't just a health thing. It's your body aligning with a lighter, more liberated state. In Buddhism, this is seen as a sign of detachment, not in a cold way, but in a way that frees you to live more fully in the present. Your body is saying, I don't need these old comforts anymore. I'm ready for something new. So, we've been talking about how your body can send these quiet, almost magical signals when you're in your final spiritual life cycle, moving toward complete soul liberation. It's like your body and soul are having a conversation, and you're just starting to eavesdrop. Let's keep this flow going and dive into another aspect that almost no one talks about, but which makes all the difference: a sudden sensitivity to energy around you. Have you ever walked into a room and felt a shift, like the air was heavier or lighter or just different? Maybe you're around someone and your chest tightens for no reason, or you feel this unexplained burst of joy near a certain place. This isn't just you being extra sensitive. It is a sign your soul is tuning into the frequencies of the world in a new way. Picture this. You're at a crowded coffee shop, people chatting, cups clinking, the usual chaos. But then out of nowhere, you feel this wave of calm, like you're wrapped in a bubble of peace. Or maybe it's the opposite. You're in a park, birds singing, but you feel restless, like something's tugging at you. In spiritual traditions, especially in Eastern mysticism, this heightened sensitivity is a marker of your soul preparing to let go of earthly attachments. It's like your inner compass is recalibrating, helping you distinguish what aligns with your path and what doesn't. I had a moment like this once, standing by a river at sunset. The world felt so alive, like it was speaking to me, and for a second, I wasn't just me, I was part of everything. It was humbling and honestly a little overwhelming. What's beautiful about this is that it's not random. Your body is becoming a better antenna for the universe's signals because you're nearing the end of this long cycle of learning. You're starting to feel the difference between energies that lift you up and those that weigh you down. Maybe you've noticed you were drawn to certain people now, those who feel like they were vibrating on the same wavelength, while others, even old friends, feel draining. This isn't about judgment, it's about your soul naturally gravitating toward what supports its liberation. And speaking of which, there is something that could complement all of this very well: a physical sensation of lightness or weightlessness at random moments. Ever had a day where you feel like you're floating, like your body is barely touching the ground? Maybe you're just sitting on your couch scrolling through your phone, and suddenly you feel this airy, almost euphoric sensation, like you could drift away. This isn't just a mood swing or too much caffeine. In Buddhist teachings, this feeling is tied to the dissolution of the ego, the part of you that clings to stress, fear, or control. It's like your soul is practicing for liberation, giving you a taste of what it's like to be free from the heaviness of this world. I heard a story from a yoga teacher who described this perfectly. She was in the middle of a class, guiding her students through a pose, when she felt like her body was made of light. For a moment, she said, it was like she wasn't carrying any burdens, not her worries, not her past, nothing. It freaked her out at first, but then she realized it was a gift, a glimpse of what her soul was moving toward. These moments don't last forever, but they're like little postcards from your future self saying, keep going, you're almost there. What's fascinating is how these signs build on each other. The tingling in your hands, the vivid dreams, the shift in what your body craves, they're all part of this bigger picture. And here's another piece of the puzzle. You might start noticing synchronicities, those coincidences that feel too perfect to be random. Maybe you're thinking about someone, and they call you out of the blue. Or you keep seeing the same number everywhere, on clocks, receipts, license plates. In spirituality, these are seen as the universe winking at you, confirming you're on the right path. It's like the world is saying, yes, you're aligning with your soul's purpose. These moments can feel small, but they're powerful. They remind you that you're not alone in this journey. Now, if all of this already seems interesting, just wait until you see what comes next. There's a deeper layer to these signs that ties everything together, and it's something you can start noticing today. We have been exploring this incredible idea that your body might be whispering clues about your soul's journey, signaling that you're in your final spiritual life cycle, inching closer to complete liberation. It's like you're picking up a cosmic radio station, and the static is finally clearing. Let us keep this conversation flowing and dive into something that often goes unnoticed, but can shift how you see everything. A heightened sense of intuition that feels almost like a superpower. Have you ever had a gut feeling so strong it stopped you in your tracks? Maybe you were about to make a decision, and something inside you screamed, no, wait. And it turned out to be the right call. That's not just luck. It's your soul tuning into a deeper wisdom, one that's been polished over lifetimes. Imagine you're walking home one evening and for no clear reason, you take a different route than usual. Later, you find out there was an accident on your regular path. Or maybe you're at work, and you get this sudden urge to reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in years, only to discover they needed you at that exact moment. These aren't random flashes. In Eastern spirituality, especially in traditions like Buddhism, a sharpened intuition is a hallmark of a soul nearing liberation. It's like your inner compass is becoming razor sharp, guiding you through decisions with a clarity that feels almost otherworldly. I had a moment like this once when I felt this inexplicable pull to visit a bookstore. I wandered in, picked up a random book, and found a passage that answered a question I'd been wrestling with for months. It felt like the universe was handing me a note. What is so special about this is that it's not about being psychic or special. It is about trusting yourself. Your intuition is like a muscle that is getting stronger because you are shedding layers of doubt and distraction. You're starting to hear your soul's voice over the noise of everyday life. And here is the thing, you don't need to meditate on a mountaintop to tap into this. It's already there, showing up in small moments, like knowing exactly what to say to comfort a friend or feeling when it's time to walk away from something that no longer serves you. And speaking of which, there is another piece to this that fits so beautifully. You might start feeling an unexplainable pull toward simplicity. Picture this. You're standing in your closet, staring at a pile of clothes, and suddenly you think, why do I need all this? Or maybe you're scrolling through social media, and instead of feeling inspired, you just want to put your phone down and sit in silence. This isn't about being bored or burned out. It's your soul craving space to breathe. In Buddhist teachings, this pull toward simplicity is a sign of detachment, not in a cold, distant way, but in a way that frees you to focus on what truly matters. You're letting go of the clutter, both physical and emotional, that's been weighing you down. A friend of mine went through this recently. She was always the type to juggle a million things: work, hobbies, social plans. But one day she started saying no to extra commitments. She donated half her wardrobe, stopped obsessing over trends, and started spending her evenings journaling or just watching the stars. She told me it felt like her soul was finally exhaling. That's what this sign is about. Creating room for your true self to shine through. It's not about giving up on life, but about choosing what aligns with your deepest purpose. What's amazing is how these signs weave together. The tingling in your hands, the vivid dreams, the sensitivity to energy, the lightness in your body, the synchronicities, they're all part of this beautiful tapestry. And now, this sharpened intuition and pull toward simplicity are like the threads that start to make the picture clear. You're not just living, you're evolving step by step toward a state of freedom that feels both new and like something you've always known. This brings us to another layer that is so easy to miss, but so powerful once you notice it. It's something that can change how you move through your day, and I can't wait to share it with you. We've been walking this path together, noticing how your body and soul are dropping hints that you might be in your final spiritual life cycle, moving toward that incredible moment of complete liberation. It's like your whole being is whispering, "You're almost there." Let us keep this conversation rolling and explore another aspect that is so subtle yet so profound, a deep sense of inner peace that shows up in the most unexpected moments. Have you ever been in the middle of a chaotic day, maybe stuck in traffic or juggling a dozen tasks, and suddenly, out of nowhere, you feel this calm settle over you? Not the kind of calm you get from a good cup of tea, but something deeper, like your soul is sitting back and saying, "Everything is going to be okay." Picture this. You're rushing to meet a deadline, your phone's buzzing, and your to-do list is screaming at you. But then, for just a moment, it's like time slows down. You take a breath, and instead of stress, you feel this quiet assurance, like you're being held by something bigger. This isn't just a random mood shift. In spiritual traditions, especially in Buddhism, this kind of unprovoked peace is a sign that your soul is starting to rest in its own truth. It's like you're touching the edge of nirvana, where the ups and downs of life don't shake you the way they used to. I had a moment like this once while washing dishes. Mundane, right? But as I scrubbed a plate, I felt this wave of stillness, like I was exactly where I was meant to be. It was so simple, but it felt like a gift. This peace isn't about everything in your life being perfect. It's about your soul starting to let go of the need to control every little thing. You're beginning to trust the flow of life, and that's a huge step toward liberation. It's like your heart is learning to dance with the universe instead of fighting it. And here is what is so cool about this. You don't have to chase this feeling. It's already inside you, showing up in those quiet moments when you least expect it. All you have to do is notice it, maybe even lean into it, like sinking into a warm hug. And speaking of which, there's something else that ties into this so perfectly. You might start feeling a strange sense of familiarity with people or places you've never met or been to before. Ever walked into a new city and felt like you've been there 1,000 times, or met someone for the first time, but it feels like you've known them forever? This isn't just déjà vu. In Eastern mysticism, this is often seen as your soul recognizing echoes from past lives or from the deeper connections that tie all of us together. It's like your soul is saying, "Oh, I remember this energy," because you're nearing the end of your journey, where everything starts to feel interconnected. I heard a story from a woman who traveled to a small temple in the mountains. She'd never been there before, but the moment she stepped inside, she started crying. Not out of sadness, but because it felt like coming home. She said it was like her soul recognized the place, even though her mind had no explanation. These moments are like little love notes from the universe, reminding you that you're part of something vast and beautiful. They're signs that your soul is weaving together all the lessons from this life and beyond, preparing you for that final step into freedom. What's so exciting is how these signs keep building on each other. The tingling sensations, the vivid dreams, the sensitivity to energy, the lightness, the synchronicities, the sharp intuition, the pull toward simplicity, they were all pointing to the same truth. You were closer than you think to breaking free. And this inner peace, this sense of familiarity, they're like the universe's way of saying, "You've got this." There's one more piece to this puzzle that's going to bring it all together, and it's something you can start practicing today to feel even more connected. We're deep into this journey now, piecing together these beautiful signs that your body and soul are dropping like breadcrumbs, guiding you toward the possibility that you're in your final spiritual life cycle on the cusp of complete soul liberation. It's like the universe is gently nudging you, saying, "You're so close. Let us keep this conversation flowing and dive into another layer that's easy to overlook, but incredibly powerful. A sudden urge to create or express yourself in ways you never have before. Have you ever felt this spark out of nowhere, like you need to write, paint, sing, or even just rearrange your living room in a way that feels deeply meaningful? It's not just a whim, it's your soul reaching for freedom through creation. Imagine you're sitting at your desk, maybe after a long day, and you pick up a notebook and start scribbling poetry, even though you haven't written since high school. Or you find yourself humming a melody that feels like it's been living inside you forever. This isn't about being an artist or having some grand talent. In spiritual traditions, especially those rooted in Eastern mysticism, this creative surge is a sign that your soul is shedding its final layers of restraint. It's like your inner light is bursting to get out, to leave a mark of your essence in the world. I had a friend who, out of the blue, started gardening. She'd never touched a plant before, but she said digging in the dirt and watching things grow felt like she was planting pieces of her soul. It changed her, made her feel alive in a way she couldn't explain. This urge to create is your soul's way of saying, "I'm ready to express who I really am." It's not about perfection or impressing anyone. It's about letting your true self flow. Maybe you start journaling and find yourself writing things that surprise you, like wisdom you didn't know you had. Or maybe you feel drawn to dance, even if it's just in your kitchen when no one's watching. These acts of creation are like little bridges between your earthly self and the infinite part of you that's preparing for liberation. They're your soul practicing what it feels like to be free. And you know what's so fascinating about this? It often comes with another subtle shift, a feeling that time is moving differently. Have you ever noticed moments where time seems to slip away, like you're so absorbed in something that hours feel like minutes? Or maybe the opposite. Moments stretch out, and a single breath feels like it holds a lifetime. In Buddhist teachings, this altered sense of time is a sign that you're restarting to step outside the linear constraints of this world. It's like your soul is dipping its toes into eternity, getting ready for a state where time doesn't bind you anymore. I remember a morning when I was just sitting by a window, watching the light shift on the trees. I wasn't doing anything special, but it felt like I was suspended in this endless moment. Like time didn't exist. It wasn't just relaxing, it was profound, like I was touching something beyond the clock. These experiences are your soul's way of practicing for liberation, where you're no longer tethered to the rush and pull of everyday life. They're gentle reminders that you're more than your schedule, more than your to-do list. What's so beautiful is how all these signs, the tingling, the dreams, the sensitivity, the lightness, the synchronicities, the intuition, the simplicity, the peace, the familiarity, they're all weaving together into this incredible tapestry. This urge to create and this shift in how you experience time are like the colors that make the picture vibrant. They're showing you that liberation isn't what some far-off dream. It is something you are already touching in small, everyday moments. Now, if this is resonating with you, there's one more piece to this that's going to tie it all together in a way that feels so empowering. It's something you can start doing right now to lean into this journey even more. We're getting closer to the heart of this journey, unraveling these rare signs that your body and soul are sharing, pointing you toward the possibility that you're in your final spiritual life cycle, edging toward complete liberation. It's like you're standing at the threshold of something vast, and your whole being is lighting the way. Let us keep this conversation alive and explore another piece that is so easy to miss but so transformative. A quiet sense of knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Have you ever had a moment where, despite all the chaos or uncertainty around you, you feel this unshakable certainty deep inside? It's not loud or flashy. It's like a soft voice in your heart saying, "This is right." Picture this. You're making a big decision, maybe about a job, a move, or even just how to spend your day. And instead of second-guessing yourself, you feel this calm assurance, like the path is already laid out. It's not about having all the answers or everything figured out. In spiritual traditions, particularly in Buddhism, this inner knowing is a sign that your soul is aligning with its purpose. It is like you, refinally trusting the current of life to carry you where you need to go. I had a moment like this when I decided to take a leap and change careers. Everyone around me was skeptical, but deep down I just knew it was the right move. And when I followed that feeling, doors opened in ways I couldn't have predicted. This sense of knowing isn't about being stubborn or ignoring advice. It asks about feeling anchored in your own truth. It asks like your soul has been through enough cycles to recognize the path that leads to freedom. You might notice it in small ways too, like choosing to spend an evening alone instead of saying yes to plans that don't feel right, or picking up a book that seems to call your name. These moments are your soul saying, "I've got this. I know the way." And here is something that pairs so beautifully with this. You might start feeling a deep connection to nature that wasn't there before. Ever find yourself staring at a tree, a river, or even the sky, and feeling like it's speaking to you? Maybe you're walking in a park, and the rustle of leaves feels like a conversation, or you sit by the ocean and feel like it's washing away something heavy inside you. In Eastern spirituality, this bond with nature is a sign that your soul is harmonizing with the universe's rhythm. It was like you were remembering that you were not separate from the world. You were part of it, woven into its energy. A friend of mine shared a story about this. She was going through a rough patch, feeling lost, when she started taking long walks in the woods near her house. One day she sat by a stream and felt this overwhelming sense of belonging, like the water was carrying her worries away. She said it was like nature was reminding her who she was. These moments aren't just relaxing, they're sacred. They're your soul practicing for liberation, where you're no longer caught in the illusion of being separate from everything else. What's so incredible is how these signs keep layering together. The tingling in your hands, the vivid dreams, the sensitivity to energy, the lightness, the synchronicities, the intuition, the simplicity, the peace, the familiarity, the creativity, the altered sense of time. They're all threads in this beautiful weave. This inner knowing and connection to nature are like the patterns that make the whole picture clear. They're showing you that liberation isn't something you have to chase. It is something you're already living, moment by moment. This leads us to one final piece that's going to bring all of this home. It's something you can carry with you every day, and it's so simple, yet so powerful. We've been on this incredible journey together, piecing together the signs your body and soul are offering, whispering that you might be in your final spiritual life cycle, stepping ever closer to complete soul liberation. It's like the universe has been leaving you little love notes, and now we create the final piece of this puzzle, a piece that ties it all together and gives you something you can carry forward. To close this cycle, there's something that few people actually put into practice, but it completely changes the game. A quiet, consistent practice of gratitude that feels like a conversation with your own soul. Have you ever paused, maybe just for a second, and felt a wave of appreciation for something as simple as the warmth of the sun on your face or the sound of someone's laughter? That's not just a fleeting feeling. It's your soul anchoring itself in the present, ready to let go of everything that's held it back. Imagine this. You're having a rough day, the kind where everything seems to go wrong. But then you stop, take a breath, and notice something small, like the way your coffee smells or the way a stranger smiled at you. Instead of brushing it off, you let yourself feel grateful for it, really feel it. In Buddhist teachings, gratitude is a gateway to liberation because it shifts you out of wanting and into being. It's like your soul is saying, I have everything I need right now. I started doing this a while back, just taking a moment each night to think of 3 things that made me feel alive that day. It sounds simple, but it was like flipping a switch. Suddenly I saw beauty in places I'd overlooked, and it made me feel lighter, freer. This practice isn't about forcing positivity or ignoring life's challenges. It's about training your heart to notice the goodness that's already there, which aligns you with the energy of liberation. You're teaching yourself to live in the moment, to let go of the past and future, and to trust that you're exactly where you need to be. And here's the magic of it. This gratitude starts to amplify all the other signs we talked about. The tingling in your hands feels more like a gift. The vivid dreams become messages you cherish. The sensitivity to energy, the lightness, the synchronicities, the intuition, the simplicity, the peace, the familiarity, the creativity, the altered sense of time, the inner knowing, the connection to nature. They all become brighter when you approach them with a grateful heart. You don't have to do this perfectly. You don't need to sit in meditation for hours or write a gratitude journal if that is not your thing. The important thing is to start, at your own pace, and keep evolving. Maybe it's just pausing once a day to say, thank you to the universe for something small. Maybe it's smiling at the way the wind feels on your skin. These tiny acts are like seeds, and over time they grow into a life that feels free, full, and deeply connected. If any part of what I've shared today resonated with you, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're experiencing, what signs you're noticing, or even just what's on your mind. And of course, if you want to see more conversations like this, subscribe to the channel. It really helps keep this kind of content going. Remember, you don't need big changes to live better. Sometimes it's a small choice, like noticing one thing to be grateful for, that ignites everything. You deserve to feel that freedom, that lightness, that joy. And if you made it to the end of this video, comment below, I'm in, just so I know you stuck with me until the end and that you're ready to embrace this journey. Oh, and that simple practice I promised. Tonight, before you go to bed, take a moment to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and think of one thing from your day that made your heart feel full. Whisper a quiet thank you to it and let that feeling sink in. It's a small step, but it's the start of something beautiful.